That's it. It couldn't be any simpler. Just imagine a pure white light surrounding you. Anytime you do work with visualization or any other type of psychic work, you need to initially imagine a white light surrounding you. Another point I want to emphasize is the need to practice, the need to apply what I'm saying. Although I want you to let go of the idea of forcing yourself, I do want you to make time to do the exercises that I'm teaching you, even something as simple as surrounding yourself with a white light. By doing this, you're going to get used to it and you're going to customize it. You're going to make it yours, because it's one thing to understand a concept intellectually. It's another thing to actually apply it. So when you sit down quietly and close your eyes and imagine a white light surrounding you, it's going to be a different experience for you than it would be for me. It's going to be an individual experience. You need to experience it. It's just like skiing. If you talk about skiing, that's one thing, and you may have a good intellectual understanding of it, but when you go to actually ski, it may be a completely different story. Although you think you have it down, maybe you don't. And maybe the first few times, it doesn't go as smoothly as you thought it would. So practice is very important. That's how you're going to develop proficiency in the things that I'm going to teach you. I would recommend about 20 minutes per day. I also want you to start right away. Start today. Everything that you learn today, no matter how far you go in this recording, everything that you learn today, go ahead and practice today. I also want you to experiment a little bit with the techniques. Make them yours. Feel free to make changes and tweaks in them to make them yours so that they work for you. And it's also my hope that you will study other techniques that you can incorporate into opening the third eye, so you can make it part of a large body of information that you have. I want to share with you a technique that I learned some years back, which was very powerful for me when I first learned it. And it has to do with working with the throat. And what you're looking for is a sound that you can create by closing your throat just a little bit. Let me give you an example of how it would sound. That's me exhaling. That's me inhaling. Now here's how I would normally sound exhaling. And here's how I would normally sound inhaling. But again, with my throat a little closed, let me share the example one more time. This is me exhaling. My throat's a little closed there. This is me inhaling. Now, how am I making that sound? Mainly by raising my tongue a little bit in my throat. I'm raising my tongue a little bit so that it closes off the passage a little bit. When I say close your throat, it's not actually a circus trick. It's not something that you have to spend years developing. And your throat is not closing per se. It's your tongue that's moving up just a little bit to narrow that gap, to narrow the opening, so that when you breathe in, there's some resistance and there is some sound. You can breathe through your nose or your mouth. Either will be fine. I just wanted to make it more dramatic for you so you could hear me breathing through my mouth in both of the examples so that you could really hear what was going on. Your lower jaw should be relaxed, and you should mostly breathe normally except for the slight closing of your throat. Now, as you get more advanced, what I'd like you to do is work on closing your throat at a lower level. In other words, initially you can close your throat a little bit with your tongue. You're not completely closing your throat. You're closing it off a little bit with your tongue, the back of your tongue, by elevating it a little bit. Eventually, you can use your larynx to close your throat a little bit. Now, this is more advanced and will take a little more time to do. In the meantime, don't worry about it. In the meantime, you can use your tongue to close your throat. Now, there's some schools of thought that teach that it must be done from the larynx only. And I want to tell you that this can take years to develop, and it is absolutely not necessary in order to do this technique correctly. You can, over time, work on closing off lower parts of your throat, but that is not necessary. Your depth of breath and the pace at which you breathe should be normal. So you're not taking an extra deep breath, you're not exhaling an extra amount of air. You're just breathing normally, except for the fact that your throat is slightly closed. One of the best ways to ensure that you're doing this correctly is to keep your neck straight. Don't hunch over and don't lean too far back. Just keep your neck straight. That means sitting up straight with your shoulders back, and your neck should be straight, going straight up from your shoulders. Your mouth is open, but only a little bit. If you find that this irritates your throat, you can put a little honey in your throat. In fact, you can eat a little honey. This will help to soothe your throat. And realize that you're not doing this excessively. If you feel lightheaded at all, just stop doing it.